Many thanks for choosing us. CEO of the John Ejekunkufo Foundation is calling for the application of criminal sanctions against public office holders found to have abused their office. Professor Edubiase says persons like former boss of the Public Procurement Authority, Ejenim Boatenaje, should be prosecuted to serve as a deterrent in the fight against corruption. The retired auditor spoke to Love News after presenting some beneficiaries of the Kufo Scholarship Leadership Mentorship Program to the Asantehene. Irasa Sasaridonko has more.
One of the most effective ways of checking corruption is when there's deterrence factor, which is to say, people see that those who get corrupt get the deserved penalties.
Professor Edubiase slammed the practice of public office holders fingered in corruption activities being left off the hook with minor sanctions.
In other countries, you discover that when officials are found to be corrupt, they are immediately, including the former president of South Korea, he served her time in jail for corruption. So one of the things to do to deter corruption is to make sure there is punishment, the deserved punishment, when the person is found guilty. I recall the case of this former procurement agency director who was found to have been corrupt, took some money, and been asked simply to refund the money without any penalty. That is not the way to fight corruption. Put the person to face the courts, and if the person deserves imprisonment, so be it. Otherwise, we can never fight this war.
At the just-ended Akwesi Day at the Menchia Palace, Professor Edubiase presented before the Asantehene some 30 tertiary students selected as beneficiaries of this year's John Ejekunkufo Scholars Program. The program, initiated by the Kufo Foundation in 2016, is aimed at mentoring young people in leadership to serve as the country's future change makers.
As they graduate out at the end of the 3-year program, a new one is conducted. So we have 30, and for the past 3 years, we have been graduating 30.
The Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative is calling for reforms in the legal education in Ghana in order to accommodate new reforms in the justice system, including community sentencing. According to the organization, the new reforms in the justice system with respect to community sentencing is to enhance justice delivery in Ghana, thereby reducing congestion in the various prisons across the country. Mausi Numo has the rest of the story read to you.
Speaking at a workshop for civil societies on community service sentencing in Ghana, Director of Programs at the Institute of Human Rights and Democracy in Africa, Edmond Amakwe-Foley, said the legal education curriculum needs to be updated to meet modern practice.
I think the legal education in Ghana now needs to embrace some of these new approaches coming up. For lawyers in practice, yes, we have something called continuous legal education, so we have to do that for them. But for those coming on board, the curricula in the law schools will have to change to also look at some of these new approaches to criminal justice delivery in the world now. And as a member of the international community, Ghana also needs to embrace new developments.
Legal practitioner Martin Nwosu spelled out the international standards and best practices on community service sentencing and its implementation.
Talking about the standards, as member country of the United Nations, we have guidance from Rule 8 of the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for non-custodial measures. The measures there can mean sentencing. Okay, and that particular rule states in part that a judicial authority having at its disposal a range of non-custodial measures should take into consideration in its decision the rehabilitative needs of the offender, the protection of society, and the interest of the victim. So if you're talking about standards, these standards should cover these 3 areas: the interests of the victim, the offender, and the society or community from which the person hails. And it mentions that the nation wanting to do this must have a range of this non-custodial sentencing. So what we are talking about here with regards to community service sentencing is just one of so many other things that can be done by way of non-custodial sentencing.
Parliament is meanwhile yet to pass a community service bill. Mausi Numont report for Joy News.
Farmers in Ghana are threatening to move away from the production of fertilizer-fed crops to other enterprises following the announcement of a 15% subsidy on fertilizer for the Planting for Food and Jobs policy by government. This will now mean that farmers will pay 85% of the cost of fertilizer for the 2022 farming season, increasing their cost of production. Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Dr. Charles Nyaba, tells Joy News this move by the Ministry of Agriculture will worsen the predicament of farmers, which can potentially lead to food insecurity in the country. He joins us via phone right now. Dr. Charles Nyaba, I'm grateful for your time. What exactly are your challenges with this latest directive from government?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to you and everybody who is listening to you. You know, our situations are diverse in terms of what we face to go into production. Cost of almost every input for production is gone up. And then most of these inputs are imported: fertilizer, agrochemicals, farm machinery, and what have you. If you look at fertilizer alone, the cost constitutes about 70% of the total cost of production. So apart from government itself reducing its support for fertilizer subsidy, there is general increase in fertilizer prices due to impact of COVID on production countries. And as we speak, most countries are actually restricting exportation of fertilizer. You take China, and now the imposition of a ban on the exportation of fertilizer from India. All this is actually impacting cost of production. So you go to the field today, fertilizer that we used to buy for 53 Ghana cedis per 25 kg on the subsidy, today is going for 150 Ghana cedis. The open market fertilizer, we cannot even go there because it's ranging between 350 to 450 Ghana cedis per 50 kg. A farmer needs about 3 or 4 bags to do an acre. So 1 acre alone, the farmer is spending over 1,000 Ghana cedis for only fertilizer. Now let's look at increase in food prices. The prices that we are able to adjust our food items is insignificant compared to increase in cost of production. So talking to most farmers, they say they have no option than to consider other enterprises or alternative businesses to farming. Those who say they remain into farming are considering scaling down their production or adopting another means, such as not applying fertilizer at all or using organic fertilizer. Using organic fertilizer is perfect, but the yield that you get an acre using an organic fertilizer is a problem because we don't have the right organic fertilizer in the system. So putting all together is actually a serious burden on the farmer.
So what exactly do you want from government?
For us, we are thinking that government has little control over global fertilizer prices, so government cannot do much in that respect. But we think that speaking to fertilizer importers, their major challenge is that some of them have supplied fertilizer under the subsidy since 2020. And up to date, government hasn't paid them a PESWA. For 2021, all the companies that we spoke to, government have not paid them a PESWA. So we think that if government had paid them, for them to have brought fertilizer into the country, the recent increase in the oil prices and depreciation of the cedi wouldn't have affected them. So to help reduce the worsening situation that we are expecting, government should quickly pay them what they owe them. That's one. Two, government should actually improve on the targeting. Previously, the implementation plan of the fertilizer distribution was that 30% of the fertilizer to go to women, and that 100% of the fertilizer under the subsidy to go to smallholder farmers. But our research and interaction with the farmers suggests that less than 30% of smallholder farmers in general benefit from the subsidy fertilizer. But for the women, when we spoke to them, most of them are usually kicked out when it comes to the subsidy fertilizer. So they are not benefited. So the targeting need to improve. And the government need to actually commit more resources and try to actually increase the subsidy component. When we spoke to government officials, they claim that the economy is hard. But we think that if government can work on the pressure to actually add 1,000 Ghana to every lecturer due to the strike that they went on. This about food security we are talking about. It shouldn't be because farmers are not able to sit home so that people don't eat. We shouldn't attend to them. So if government, upon all the food, the crisis, they manage to give 1,000 Ghana cedis for lecturers to go back to the classroom, government should be able to also increase allocation for subsidy to improve or to move away from the 15 to at least 40%. So that's what we are asking for.
I'm grateful for your time. Dr. Charles Nyaba, he's with the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. We can now speak with the Executive Director of the Chambers of Agribusiness, Anthony Morrison. What other alternatives are available for government in dealing with this problem, Mr. Morrison?
Very good afternoon to your viewers. Well, I think that right from last year, the Chamber has been postulating a number of solutions that we think were right. We also projected, due to our global fertilizer intelligence monitoring we have been doing. And I think the ministry actually saw that this problem was coming. And you remember last year, the ministry said we should have a rethink about a fertilizer subsidy. Now, going forward, we think that the whole issue is about government commitment. The whole issue is about policy alignment. The whole issue about how government is committed to its own policies and projects. For instance, if you take fertilizers from fertilizer suppliers and importers, you pay them on time and you pay them everything so they can keep importing to maintain the standard and also the quality and the food security situation in the country. Now, we have seen in last year where government said they were setting up the development bank. Now, is it possible now to start going into the development bank approach? Now that we know they are not depository taking and they are not the tier 2 bank, so that we use some of these funds to set up our fertilizer or complete the fertilizer project that is ongoing at Aswabo Dam. Now, we need to do that as early as possible as a first intervention. 2, we now need to look at how we can strengthen our partnership with the likes of Morocco, Algeria, Togo, who have some depository of fertilizer or fertilizer additives or components, okay, phosphate and all that. Now, finally, we need to look at the local content in our agricultural productivity. And when I talk about local content, we're talking about the use of organic fertilizers. Can we now begin to deliberately enhance the policy for organic fertilizer penetration, or the biopesticides, or the biostimulants, or the boosters? This is the time we need to start looking at that, because you agree with me. I mean, if you go to the medical area, we have seen to a large extent how the local medicine have done.
So these are 3 critical areas that government must focus on to deal with the challenge at hand.
Yes. Exactly.
Anthony Morrison, I'm grateful for your time. He's Director of the Chamber of Agribusiness. And this afternoon, the Attorney General is urging the Tema High Court to refuse a bail application filed by Fix the Country convener Oliver Baka-Vomawo. The AG says he has so far failed to cooperate with police investigations and has not fixed place of abode. Mr. Baka-Vomawo, he said to be unwell, has, through his lawyers, put in an application for bail. He's facing the charge of treason felony over allegations he has instigated members of his group to overthrow government. The AG has in a document detailed what police investigations have uncovered so far. Court correspondent Joseph Akable joins us with more. So, Joseph, how is the AG justifying that Baka-Vomawo is actually not cooperating?
So it specifically has to do with the information that he's supposed to provide by way of showing them where he lives. They say they've obtained a warrant from the district court that permits investigators to visit and search his home as part of investigations to determine whether there are any items in the house that he was using to carry out this instigation that he said to have engaged in. But they say that each time they ask him to show them where exactly he lives, he has failed to do so. And so they say that this is someone that we don't know where he lives. He's not even allowing us to search his place, despite a warrant that has been issued. How can you grant such a person a bail? And so that is why they are saying he should not be granted bail.
So we also understand that he's refused to make available his phone to the police. How true is that?
The police investigators say that they've also secured a warrant from the district court that permits them to access his phone and go through the phone as part of the investigations. They say that there's a lock on the phone. They showed him the warrant and asked him to unlock the phone. The allegation is that he has refused to unlock the phone. And so they say that is also affecting investigations.
So what's the state of his case as we speak?
As we speak now, the bail application was supposed to be heard at the High Court at Tema. But when we went to court today, his lawyers informed the court that they had just received the said document that contains all these allegations from the AG's office. They say that the allegations are untrue. And on Monday, when they have the opportunity, they had actually asked for more time to respond. But the court said because he's unwell, they want them to do the determination of the bail immediately. So they are going back to court on Monday, where they will be expected to respond to these allegations and hope that the court will dismiss the allegations and grant him bail. If the court upholds the argument of the AG, then it means that he remains in the custody of the police.
Joseph Akable is our court correspondent. Let's stick on to legal matters because Senior Vice President of the policy think tank, Imani Ghana, has condemned the unyielding posturing of the minority towards the Supreme Court's ruling on the Deputy Speaker's voting right in Parliament. Mr. Kofi Bentil observes that regardless of any misgivings towards the verdict, the minority must first accept the ruling and then states their disagreement. Some NDC minority MPs have since yesterday's ruling publicly indicated any attempt to enforce the ruling will be resisted. Their grievance has to do with formation of a quorum for parliamentary decision-making in Parliament. Mr. Bentil insists the minority's posturing is wrong. There's more in the following desk report. The latest person reacting to the ruling is the former President John Dramani Mahama, who in a tweet described the verdict as shocking but not surprising. According to him, the ruling is an unfortunate interpretation for convenience that sets a dangerous precedent of judicial interference in parliamentary procedure for the future. The minority in Parliament yesterday were blunt in expressing their disappointment. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu addressed the media.
A very disappointing ruling of the Supreme Court of Ghana, which more or less amounts to a judicial interference in time-tested parliamentary practice and established conventions.
MP for Ningo Pampram, Sam Jatta George, in a tweet minutes after the ruling, dared the Deputy Speaker to attempt enforcing the ruling. MP for South Dai, Roxanne Dafiamekpo, featuring on the AM show Thursday, March 10, said the Supreme Court has given its blessing to the chaos in Parliament.
The Supreme Court, as it were, has given a judicial blessing to chaos in Parliament.
Chaos?
Yes.
The Supreme Court has given a judicial blessing to chaos in Parliament. Is a joke.
For the first Deputy Speaker, Joe Sewusu, the ruling is refreshing.
It was a voice vote, and I did not participate in the voice vote. But I insisted that I'd be counted as a member of Parliament present to constitute the quorum before a decision was taken. Indeed, this decision affirms that position that I took. I find that very refreshing.
Certainly, a chaos-free parliamentary business does not seem guaranteed following these reactions. Thus, while the minority is definitely unhappy, the majority is super okay. The MPs are lawmakers and must be seen to be abiding by the laws they enact. How justified is their current posturing? Senior Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentil, has this to say.
I don't agree with the minority. I accept the Supreme Court's ruling, but I don't agree with it. I accept it because it is their proper place to determine these matters. I don't agree with it because they are saying if you become Deputy Speaker and assume extra powers, you should still keep your vote. So that I disagree with. The minority members are seeing the inherent problems that will be caused and the disadvantages that will be visited on them.
Also, lawyer Martin Kpebu has appealed to the MPs to exercise restraint and accept the Supreme Court's ruling.
Even though you will hear some of the minority members condemning the court, but you will also hear some of them saying that they think the way forward is that they will also go to the Supreme Court to have the Supreme Court hear them. And that is what the rule of law requires of us. That's the least that we can do. So they should consult their lawyers and see what to do so that they can also go back to the court.
And in our Ghana Man series this week, we shine light on indigenous Ghanaian dances that you may not know about. Today, we tell you about Kwacha, the genre and dance of the Gadangwe people of the Greater Accra region. The dance, which mimics the uneven walk of mythical dwarfs sighted by a hunter according to oral tradition, is largely performed at puberty rite events. My colleague Justice Beidou went to see the Ghana Dance Ensemble perform their dance at the University of Ghana here in Accra.
Kwacha is a dance among the Dangbes, right? Nugo, Pram, that is Bubula, Ada, yes, and then the Kulu, subcultures. We perform Kwacha. And history has it that once upon a time, a hunter, when about his hunting expeditions, he chanced upon mysterious beings, who we call dwarf or adope, and they were performing. These dwarfs or mystic beings, they are not even in their walking. And so their walking is uneven, and so it looks like wobbly, kwacha. And something that is wobbly, like a table or a chair that is not stable, that is wobbly, we say that the table or the chair, it's kwacha. So they are uneven walking, and their gait came about with the kwacha. The dance is performed unevenly, all right? So when they perform, they move uneven to the right, to the left, okay? They also go down and then hop. So those were the antics that this hunter saw. So it was what he saw that he reported, and then he demonstrated what he saw. And then dance experts and musicians also composed the rhythm to it, and then the dance movement to it, and the whole community got into it, and they've been performing it for years now. So the song they are singing is Mabotako Matele, right? I would look for a cloth, tie it almost like a headgear, and then I'll carry it. No, what am I carrying? I'm carrying my burden. I'm carrying my aspirations. I'm carrying my challenges. Mabotako Matele, Midday Chenjachum, the Matele, Mukaka Yensane. Don't talk about, don't be on my case. Don't talk about my challenges. Don't talk about me. It's my burden, so I'll carry my own burden. Another one like Inya Dodo wa Inya Fia Bele Telefo Ajina Blono Lisupe Webele Fominine Ifominine Inyole Fominine Ayu Ajina Blono Lisupe Webele Fominine. So a young lady going to Dodowa, okay, to visit her friend Bele. Okay, so he gets to Ajina Junction, and then there is this gentleman who is waving at her. Ifominine Inyole Fominine Ayu Ajina Blono Lisupe Webele Fominine. You understand? So it's talking about love. I'm going to visit my male friend, and then I get to Ajina Junction, and then there he is. He's waving at me. I also wave back. You understand? So we have all these social issues that are spoken about all in one. And you see that dance is performed by the youth. So these are pieces of advice that are thrown into the performance for the youth to learn and then be better adults in future.
We'll take a break on Joy News today. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest from the world of business.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. Wilmer Ghana has unveiled media personality Na Ashoko as his brand ambassador. According to marketing manager of Wilmer Africa, producers of Fertilizer oil, Edubiase, Wilmer wants to reposition itself beyond the production of oil with the inclusion of women personalities. Here's more.
As a brand which has been in the market for about 3 decades, Fertilizer is noted as the preferred choice of edible oil in Ghana. Since it was acquired by Wilmer Africa about 10 years ago, the brand has repositioned beyond the production of oil with the inclusion of women personalities. Iraba Ekuya Eduse tells Joy Business the decision to engage Na Ashoko to represent the brand Wilmer Africa.
We felt there's no other person than Na Ashoko, who is very instrumental in championing the cause of women. She believes in goodness as well, and therefore her values resonate with the brand. And we felt as management that this is the person that should be able to lead this cause for us, or lead this campaign for women, and help us get all women to be aware that they deserve so much more and they deserve a life of goodness.
Iraba also revealed that Wilmer Africa has launched a campaign dubbed "You Deserve a Good Life," aimed at encouraging Ghanaians to eat healthy.
We believe in women wellness, women going places, and not just women, young adults as well, supporting them not just in health ways, but also physically, their physical and mental wellness as well. To be able to charter this cause, we have brought to you the new campaign, which is "You Deserve a Life of Goodness." And why do we deserve a life of goodness? Is the fact that there are little things in life that you can pause and enjoy. Many times we are rushing through life, we want to juggle a lot of things at the same time. So we want to achieve so much more in so little time that we forget about ourselves. And so we feel that people should be able to give themselves that treat in their meals. We are not saying you should cut down on your meals, but eat healthy, good meals.
Na Ashoko describes her engagement as brand ambassador as a call to duty.
Well, I'm very excited about this opportunity to serve. I see it as an opportunity to serve because the message that Fertilizer drives, which is that you deserve a life of goodness, is one that is very dear to my heart. And I believe should be dear to the hearts of all women and all people. I mean, women are the very heart and soul of our society, from the home to our workplaces and everywhere. When the woman is well at home, everything is fine.
Now, the Women's Banking Department of Cal Bank, in partnership with the University of Ghana Medical School, as well as the Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association, has provided free medical screening and health talk for members of the Yonkudo Farmers and Traders Association in Budumburam in the Central Region. This was part of International Women's Day celebration. There is more in this report.
The medical screening was Cal Bank Women's Banking initiative to give back to one of its group that have supported the growth of the women's unit over these years. The Yonkudo Farmers and Traders Association were given health talk from the University of Ghana Medical Center team. Here is a member of the Cal Bank Women's Unit, Gifty Educhum.
To celebrate the International Women's Day 2022, we decided to celebrate with our group, one of our groups. Okay, they are mainly farmers and traders. They are called Yonkudo Farmers and Traders Association. They are located in Kaswa here. So we decided to come to them, and not just come to them, but to bring them health screening. Because we think about them, we think about their health. So we decided to bring them health screening. And in doing this, we decided to partner the Pharmaceutical Importers and Wholesalers Association and the University of Ghana Medical Center.
Coordinator from the University of Ghana Medical Center, Dr. Mariano Pokwe-Jakwa, proceeded that the event was successful.
I must say
team are really very excited about what we've come to do. They have been very happy with us. There are a couple of things we've diagnosed, we've given them counseling, and they are poised to go out there and do what they have to do to live healthier, happier lives.
Executive Secretary of the Pharmaceuticals Importers and Wholesalers Association of Ghana, Fifi Ama Jr., explained the need for the partnership.
As an association, we decided to partner Cow Bank because we believe in women, and today being a day set aside for women, to celebrate women, and the theme also meaning that we are to break the bias. We deem it fit to support the vision of Cow Bank with health screening of women especially, and to be able to diagnose them and then know what is wrong with them and they get treated.
CalBank Women Banking is bent on providing world-class financial solutions to women across the country.
There's more business news coming up at the top of the hour. Up next, sports.
Let's do sports now on Joy News today. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. The Minister of Youth and Sports, Mr. Varisif, has revealed government will spend about 11 million Ghana cedis on the new Edubiase Stadium. And out of that, 2 million has already been released for the groundwork to the constructor. The clearance by the minister infuriated the Member of Parliament for new Edubiase, Abdul Salam, who questioned the work done so far.
The contractor for the project is Shakden Company Limited, and the present government will ensure that the construction and the recommence in December 2020, and at present the floor works of the foundation has been completed. The government of Ghana is funding this project, and it is estimated to cost this country 11 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, 2 million Ghana cedis out of the amount has been released to the contractor for the project, with further release assurance from the Honorable Minister for Finance. The government has made budgetary provision, and in the 2022 budget, a provision was made to ensure that this project is completed for the use of the good people of New Edubiase. The contractor has therefore been directed to move to site. We have given the contractor up to the end of this month to go back to site to ensure that we get this project completed.
If it's the current one, the minister says that about 2 million cedis had been released to the contractor and foundation work has been done. I don't know if site clearing constitutes foundation of a project. They've only cleared the site, and if that costs 2 million cedis, that leaves a lot of questions to be asked.
What was your question?
My question is that, Mr. Speaker, have they done any foundation? Has the minister taken the pains to find out the percentage of work that has been done at the new site as we speak? Do you know what percentage of work has been completed?
Yes, Honourable Minister. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my answer is very clear. I said the floor works of the foundation has been completed, and 2 million Ghana cedis has been issued to the contractor based on the certificates raised through the consultant for the project. And so, to answer your question, yes, the foundation works, and also the clearing of site and everything include the foundations to give room for the construction to take place. These are all part of the project.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Today, our singer Stephanie Benson is urging musicians in Ghana to create quality music and ensuring better benefits for their craft. According to her, the music career in Ghana is not rewarding enough and needs to be paid attention to.
The thing with me is I get bored easily, so I like to challenge my brain all the time. So I'm doing so many things, people think I'm not focused, but I'm focused in my own way. You know, some people say that, you know, why don't you sort of plug your music a bit more? But I'm not really about plugging my music so much. I just love music, so I put it out. If you want to listen, listen. Yeah. If you don't want to listen, don't listen. But
you don't make your money off music at all?
God, no, not here.
Okay.
It's like, I don't even think your stars make that much money off music here. But on social media, it looks like they do. But because people don't actually buy records anymore. Even in the UK, they don't. It's more about the branding and the, you know. So I just feel we have to be very realistic to the potential artists coming up about what the reality of making money in music nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, you have to learn your art and be a good performer. That's how, because most of the money I make is from doing great performances and concerts and whatnot, but not from selling albums. Yes, royalties if you write your own thing, but good musical. Because now everybody writes music and it's like choruses you don't even understand, and so far as they can hear the doko mi kind of and then no be hey also be
exactly,
you know, and it's okay. So if we don't move on, you have to understand that it's not because we don't have amazing artists here.
Yeah,
it's because some of your songs don't make sense.